On Global TV News Prime, APC Governors Forum endorses President Tinubu for second term. In business, Tinubu sends 1.48 trillion naira 2025, Rivers budget to NATS for approval. And in sports, Rafi Nar extends Barca deal until 2028. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Global News Prime, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276 and free to air on Nigecomsat. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The All Progressives Congress APC held a 2025 National Summit in a grand style at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa in Abuja, where President Tinubu was endorsed by the party members as sole candidate for 2027 presidential election. The 2025 APC National Summit with the Team Renewed Hope agenda, the journey so far was well attended by party members across the country. The summit was aimed at fostering conversations around the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu and accessing the renewed hope vision in the last 2 years. 52 African countries have endorsed the request of Nigeria to host the African Parliament in Abuja in 2026. This followed a request for the hosting right by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, Nigeria's representative at the executive meeting of the African Parliament in Casablanca, Morocco. The African Parliament is the legislative body of the African Union, which exercises oversight and has advisory and consultative power. The Senate and Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has urged President Bola Tinubu to take urgent measures against the renewed terrorist attacks in the northeast. Zulum advised the president to rely more on professional judgment of the military rather than political voices in the fight against Boko Haram insurgents. The Senate, on its part, called for concerted action against the terrorists and also recommended the establishment of a military base in the Hong local government area of Adamawa State. The federal government has instituted a suit against Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, the suspended senator representing Kogi Central, over alleged defamatory remarks made on live television. The suit, filed before a Federal Capital Territory High Court on May 16, 2025, has Akpoti-Uduaghan as the sole defendant. The government accused the senator of making imputation, knowing or having reason to believe that such imputations will harm the reputation of a person, citing Section 391 of the Penal Code, Cap 89 laws of the Federation 1990. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has warned that security and health challenges facing the nation's capital require urgent national intervention. Wike, while speaking during the budget defense before the Senate, emphasized that the FCT's role as seat of government and host to diplomatic missions demands coordinated security approach. The minister announced the ongoing collaboration with federal security agencies, including the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Department of State Services. Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, has called on administrators of public universities in Nigeria to explore ways of expanding their global reach and attracting international students. He made the suggestion while delivering a keynote address at the maiden edition of the Osun State University annual lecture in Osogbo, titled Interrogating Funding of Education, Global versus Nigerian Perspectives. Global Television brings you details. Of the governing councils for tertiary institutions in the country are gathered here to deliberate on issues affecting the universities, polytechnics, and other higher institutions in the country. According to the chairman of the forum, Akim Babajide, members of the governing councils have a critical role to play for the stabilization and improvement of the quality of learning in the institutions. He says the objective is to see how members of the council can contribute to the growth and development of the institutions they govern.
We must ask ourselves the following questions. How do we align institutional goals with national priorities. How do we foster innovations in governance and learning? How do we ensure that our university, polytechnics, college of education are not only surviving but thriving?
Keynote speaker Professor Olukayode says the issues to be deliberated upon by members at this conference includes financial autonomy, financial and administrative accountability, as well as how to align institutional goals with national priorities.
You have to create networks that will attract additional resources and support to the institutions. And get this, you have to hold the provost, you have to hold the rector, you have to hold the vice chancellor and university management accountable.
President Tinubu had in July last year appointed members of governing councils for tertiary institutions in the country with a mandate to add to the stability of the institutions, a task this forum says should not be treated with levity. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting. The House of Representatives has resolved to convene a stakeholders conference to deliberate on the operational challenges and prospects of the Barrow Inland Port. The motion, jointly sponsored by former Deputy Speaker Honorable Idris Wase and 10 other lawmakers, seeks to produce a comprehensive policy document to guide the port's operationalization. Godwin Sunday has details.
Road Safety Commission was also placed under legislative scrutiny following a motion by Honorable Afam Ogene demanding accountability on revenue generated from the issuance of driver's licenses nationwide.
Observes that the Federal Road Safety Commission is alleged to use its information processing center for warehousing data for driver's licenses and manipulating it to sideline and shortchange the state's boards of internal revenue.
Meanwhile, the House has considered the report of its Committee on Population regarding a bill to repeal the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) Act of 2007 and enact a new law establishing the National Identity Database and National Identity Management Commission. Godwin Sunday for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the non-payment of a 32,000 naira monthly palliative to pensioners nearly 2 years after President Bola Tinubu approved the intervention following the removal of fuel subsidy. Global Television brings you details. The resolution followed a motion moved by the Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka, who expressed concern over the federal government's failure to disburse the approved funds to pensioners for 6 consecutive months.
The House herefore resolves to urge the Federal Ministries of Finance and Humanitarian and Poverty Reduction, the Accountant General, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, and other relevant agencies to immediately implement all approved pension increments without any further delay.
Also at plenary, Honorable Nnamdi Ezechi from Delta State raised a motion of urgent public importance, decrying the poor state of healthcare infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory.
Convinced that the strategic review and upgrade of health infrastructure in the FCT, along with the comprehensive recruitment drive for medical professionals, will address the urgent needs and ensure better health outcomes.
He therefore called for the declaration of a state of emergency in the sector and an investigation into the status of health care facilities within the FCT. For Global Television, Queen. Amid rising concerns over recent defections, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Senate caucus has affirmed that the party remains united and steadfast. At a press conference after plenary, Senate's Minority Leader Senator Abba Moro, together with other PDP lawmakers, emphasized that the party continues to be the strongest opposition force in Nigeria. Here are the details. PDP senators gathered at the Senate Press Center to reassure Nigerians that despite recent challenges and the defection of some members to the All Progressives Congress (APC), the party remains solid and cohesive. Senator Moro, the caucus leader, expressed confidence in the reconciliation efforts led by former Senate President Bukola Saraki. He assured that the committee tasked with addressing internal grievances would work diligently to restore unity within the party. He urged all PDP members to stay committed, underscoring that despite its difficulties, the PDP remains the party to beat.
Contrary to the insinuations that the PDP is in shreds and at the verge of collapse, the party remains very, very strong and will continue to work stronger. The Senate caucus of the PDP, therefore, urges all our team members to remain resolute in their commitment, dedication, and loyalty to the party. The caucus believes that a series of activities lined up by the leadership of the party will throw up a new lease of life and leadership in the party that will make it very competitive in future elections.
Additionally, Senator Moro noted that the PDP is capable of forming coalitions when necessary to strengthen its political positions.
Of all the opposition parties, the PDP's umbrella is big enough to accommodate all persons desirous of coalition. The People's Democratic Party, therefore, should drive the coalition when and if it becomes necessary.
To date, 3 lawmakers from Kebbi State and 1 from Delta North have defected from the PDP to APC, alongside other defections from various political parties. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting. Wife of the Zamfara State Governor Huriya Lawal has appealed to Governor Dauda Lawal to approve 6 months of paid maternity leave for all working mothers in both the public and private sectors. She made the appeal during a courtesy visit to the governor at the Government House, Gusau. Kabir Hassan has details.
This is an advocacy visit to the office of the Zamfara State Governor by the State First Lady, Huriya Lawal, and other stakeholders. She says granting 6 months of paid maternity leave is not just a policy, but a gesture of love and vital investment in collective future of children. The wife of the governor noted that the 6 months maternity leave policy is to improve employee retention, increase morale, and healthier babies.
This isn't just a policy, it's a labor of love for our women, our children, and our future. The early months of a child's life are sacred, filled with precious bonding, life-giving breastfeeding, and the vital healing of both mother and baby.
The UNICEF representative, Kulu Sanda, emphasizes that advocating for 6 months of paid maternity leave for nursing mothers aligns with the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, and the United Nations standards, which promotes the well-being of mother and child.
UNICEF also aligns with this policy of advocating mothers to have time enough to breastfeed her child, time enough to take the child for routine immunization.
Governor Dauda Lawal commended the First Lady for her advocacy and assured that the request will be thoroughly deliberated with the members of the State Executive Council. He affirmed his administration commitment to supporting policies that directly benefit citizens.
You know, what is working well. So myself and my colleagues here will look into your request and we'll dissect it, digest it, and then come up with a framework on how it is going to be. Whether it is going to be the 6 months, whether it is going to be less, but it's something that we will look into, and I can assure you we'll come back to you within the shortest possible.
The governor also expressed appreciation to the delegation and development partners, including UNICEF, for their continued support and collaboration with the state government. Hassan Kabir reporting for Global TV.
You're watching the live broadcast of the News Prime. When News Prime returns, Nigeria-Morocco $25 billion gas pipeline tops Tinubu's priority project. Details coming shortly. Please stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television. Many thanks for staying with us. In business, following the suspension of Rivers State House of Assembly, President Bola Tinubu has officially submitted the 2025 Appropriation Bill of the state to the National Assembly for consideration. In a letter addressed to the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, the proposed budget totals 1.481 trillion naira with major allocations aimed at revitalizing key sectors. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reports.
Infrastructure tops the list with a proposed 324 billion naira, while the health sector is allocated 106 billion naira, including 5 billion naira earmarked for free malaria drugs.
The appropriation bill for the year 2025 is in the total sum of 1,481 billion, wherein the sum of 324 billion is for infrastructure, both ongoing and new projects, while the sum of 166 billion is for the health sector, including 5 billion for free drugs for treatment of malaria and other common ailments.
Education sector is set to receive 75.6 billion naira, while 31.4 billion naira is proposed for agricultural development. In a formal communication to the National Assembly, President Tinubu is asking the Senate for an expeditious consideration.
Herewith, the 2025 Appropriation Bill for Rivers State for consideration of the Senate. The distinguished Senate may wish to recall that Rivers State is currently under emergency rule, which was proclaimed and duly gazetted in March 2025. Regulation 4, subsection 2F of the Emergency Rule 2025 requires authorization for expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State for its activities. In the absence of the State Assembly, it's expected that the National Assembly acts on that behalf. Hence, the request for the approval of the Senate for the Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill.
The Senate has referred the bill to its ad hoc committee on emergency rule with instructions to review the proposal and report back to the chamber as soon as possible. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reporting for Global Television News.
In sports now, Barcelona winger Rafinha signed a contract extension until 2028 after a spectacular season. The Brazilian, whose previous deal was set to expire in 2027, was vital as Barcelona won a domestic treble of La Liga, the Copa del Rey and the Spanish Super Cup. Rafinha, a candidate to win the Ballon d'Or, has scored 34 goals and provided 25 assists in 56 matches across all competitions. The long-standing rivalry between African star Quadri Aruna and South American maestro Hugo Calderano will be reignited at the 2025 ITTF World Champions in Doha. The two continental giants are set to meet in the fourth round of the men's single at Lusail Arena. As we end the Global TV News Prime, let's take a look at our top stories. The All Progressives Congress APC held her 2025 National Summit in a grand style at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa in Abuja, where President Bola Tinubu was in attendance. In business, following the suspension of the Rivers State House of Assembly, President Bola Tinubu has officially submitted the 2025 Appropriation Bill of the state to the National Assembly for consideration. And in sports, we told you Barcelona winger Rafinha signed a contract extension until 2028 after a spectacular season. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on NIGECOMSAT. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.